welcome back. It is a new episode. I believe this is episode 21. I just got back from the store. It's kind of late in the day. I did a couple small things off camera, just tidying up some wiring stuff. So I put the ground wire from my breaker box to the bus. I put that in. I finished up some other little wiring tidbits that are irrelevant, but funny news. What was it? I think it was last night or this morning. I got a message it was this morning at like 7 something in the morning. But in my emails, there was a message from the seller of the Amazon sink. And come to find out, the $20 I paid for it was a mistake. It wasn't supposed to be $20, but I got it for $20. That's why in the last episode you see it says it's now like 135 or 150 bucks, because that's the actual price. Apparently the seller messed up and there was some kind of malfunction in the system, but this got marked to $20 and it wasn't supposed to be. Wasn't even on sale or anything. I don't know what their tactics was there. I don't know if it was a little scam or scheme that they were trying to play or trying to boost, views on their listing, but I got the sink for 20 bucks. I told them, look guys, I've already installed it. I'm not taking it out. And once I told them it was installed, I also reported them to Amazon so Amazon could step in and take care of it, because I'm sure I've never seen this before on Amazon. They shortly after said, yeah, enjoy it. If you need any help or have any questions, just let us know. And I was like, yeah, it looks like a good sink and it's gonna go to good use. So that's cool. Yeah, I guess it was a little bit better quality sink than I originally thought I was getting. Maybe. They're probably all about the same anyways. But went to the store. I got some supplies. So the last thing you saw on the episode yesterday was the drain fiasco. That's where I ended the episode because that was the last clip I took. But I went to the store today to browse what some of my options were. And I got this 1.5 inch cast elbow. I mean, this was just the most compact elbow that I could find, and in theory this should screw on to the drain rather than this little nut there. You'll get that there and it'll go out the side. So I didn't get anything else to go off of it because I need to see if it's even going to fit in the first place. So I'm going to test fit this in a couple minutes, and if it does fit, then we'll figure out what plumbing we need to go from this to the tank. Which shouldn't be much. It'd be just a pipe or a hose at that point. Also got some plumber's putty, which is going to be used on my shower drain, and I'll probably use it on this kitchen drain as well, rather than the dinky little foam gasket that comes with it. So I'll put some plumber's putty. That's what plumbers use. So it'll be legit. On the propane side of things, there's this line that goes to my 2-burner stove, and this would be like the point where you hook up your propane to it. But I don't want copper lines because this is just kind of it's already pretty mangled, and I don't want to fuck with it. I don't want to put copper lines in the bus for propane. I know it's recommended to do copper lines because they'll hold up. Like rubber hoses can degrade over time, and that could cause a leak eventually. But for me, I just don't want to deal with the copper lines. I got a flaring tool, but bending them is a hassle. Routing them, I never get them shaped the way I want them. So I'm not doing copper lines. I'm doing rubber hoses and fittings. Make it simple. If I need to change a damn hose, I buy another one. Bada bing, bada boom. No making a new line if something goes wrong or changes, right? So I only started off with one hose. I believe this has the same fitting on the end of it as what connects up to the stove, and then from there I'll just have a 1/4 inch straight on the end. I still need to figure out how I'm gonna tie together the water heater and the stove. I was at the hardware store for way too long looking at every single fitting they had to try to find any sort of way to have a T go to my 5/8 on my water heater and to this hose, or any other hose for that matter. Connecting 5/8 to anything else is just not doable with the fittings they have at that store. So I'm gonna have to do some research, but I figured in order to use the coupon I was trying to use there for $5 off, I needed to spend over $35. So I grabbed the hose to bump my subtotal up, just so I could use the coupon, basically. But we'll put that in a little bit later today as well. One of the most exciting things that I got on this trip, I would say, is an adapter. Since I finished up the wiring, which I'm gonna have to hope and assume that I did everything correctly, and that the bus is not gonna burn down when I plug it in. But I guess we're gonna find out today. I have not looked into getting an electrician out here, but I know just based off of trying to get an electrician out to the house that it's a difficult thing. So I may or may not get an electrician to look over this system before I really start using it. But I'm pretty confident in myself that I figured it out and done it the correct way. So this is a 30 amp to 15 amp adapter. Since I have a 30 amp plug-in, this will go to the bus, go on my little thing there, and then I could just run a regular extension cord like I've been doing. I've been running an extension cord but out to the bus to use, which has been limiting me. Now I can just plug the extension cord into the bus and use all the outlets on the bus, and do whatever like that. So it's a little bit easier. So this will be the first thing I'm gonna put in. I'm gonna put this on. I'm gonna take the extension cord out of the window right now, and we're gonna see if my electrical works in the bus. It's a scary moment, kinda. So this cord is not gonna work. This does not fit into my outlet, and I figured out this is an L520R, and I need an L530R to fit. I don't know. It's the same fucking shape, but I guess this one is slightly smaller than the one I need. So I'm gonna move on to some other stuff then, I guess. So this doesn't work either. It's just too bulky to fit in there. It's probably about a ½ inch too tall. So I think at this point I'm gonna need to get a different drain that's more compact somehow. But that's turning out to be a difficult task, because even the low profile ones that are for a camper van is like 3 inches tall, which I just barely have 3 inches to work with under here. So yeah, there's just barely 3 inches to the edge of that tank. So a 3-inch drain is not gonna fit in there. So I gotta figure something out for that. So that didn't work. Electrical thing didn't work. The propane thing did work. I mean, I hooked up to the stove. I put the cover on, got that all put together. I put a little thing on there just to try to protect the thing, which is actually gonna need to be redone now that I just fucked with it. But yeah, that line is long enough to go from the propane burner down to here next to the water heater, because the propane to the water heater goes right there. So I'll need to devise some kind of T for right there and bring the feed line into this area as well. So yeah, that's where we're at. So yesterday was a big unsuccessful day on many avenues. The electrical did not get hooked up and is not tested. Today I did buy a proper connector maybe to do something with, so I think I have some big enough cable inside that I can hook up to this, and we can throw a plug on the other end, a 15 amp plug, and try to plug it in. But on other terms, let's go. The drain situation is still kind of fucked. I did figure out a part that may work. All the other drain assemblies they had at the store, the only other one that was smaller than this one was by a 1/10 of an inch. So, you know, not worth spending $20 on a new drain that's only a 1/10 of an inch smaller and not having any other fitting yet. But I think I found a fitting that'll thread onto this that might fit down there. The problem is finding it near me and obtaining it. That is a whole nother story. But I'm gonna move to propane stuff, potentially. I mean, I forgot to get, or I'm now learning that I needed to get special thread tape for propane. So, you know, that's wonderful. I need to go back to the store, spend more money. But regardless, here's what I got. I figured out the proper size fitting. Even though the manual for this told me it was 5/8, it is actually 3/8 flare on there, same as the propane stove. So what I did was, since the hose coming from the cooktop ends in 1/4" MPT, I got a 1/4" T, because I want to tee this off, right? And this is a 3/8 to 1/4" fitting, as well as that one, because this kit ends off at a 3/8. So this hose, that's a dual stage regulator. This says it's for temporary use only because it's got rubber hoses, but we're going to disregard that because that is what I want for this setup. So I got a dual stage regulator that'll go on to the propane tank. And then I got 12-foot hose that is more than enough. I probably will have a lot of extra hanging around somewhere, but I'll probably put that more towards the tank side. So if I want to pull the tank off and still have it connected, I can, or whatever the case may be. But that should be plenty enough hose. So I'll connect to the propane tank, run the hose, and it'll come up to here to the T, and that T will get installed down there on the water heater with everything else. So yeah, but I need to get some sealing for that. All right, so I do not recommend you do this, but this is what I'm doing. I did verify that this plug does fit in my socket this time before I wired anything up, so that works. I don't have any 30 amp plug outlets here, or any 50 amp or anything bigger than a 15 amp plug, which is a regular style plug. And I'm going to be running through an extension cord anyways, so I would have had to use step downs and adapters, so I think this should be fine. But I just took an old cable that I had as a 3-prong, wired it up to this. So now I'm going to plug this into my extension cord and plug it into the bus, and we'll see what happens. I do have a fire extinguisher on hand as well. Well, we got this plugged in. I double checked to make sure all the breakers are off. So I'm gonna plug this in and make sure nothing weird happens there. And then we'll go flip some breakers and see what happens. All right, so I was plugged in. There were no zippy zappies. I don't feel anything getting hot on the extension cord or on the inlet wire. So here's the moment of truth. I'm gonna pull this panel off too, so we have viewing access in here, because this converter should turn on when I turn the breaker on. So let's find out. All right, nothing has happened. That is the only breaker that's on, is for that outlet that goes to the converter, but it didn't kick on. So let's see if the outlet is, oh, I reset the outlet and it is on. Okay, so that should be feeding 12 volt to the rest of the system. We have power strips that we can plug in. This is how we can test the outlets. All right, so let's plug this in and we'll turn on one of our kitchen circuits. So this should light up when I turn my kitchen circuit on, which would be one of these. Can't remember which one. And we'll reset this. Yep. And boom, we got power. Sweet. Awesome. So it seems to be working thus far. I still don't feel anything getting warm. Let's go feel the cables out here. Make sure they're not getting all hot or nothing. I think we're Gucci, man. I think we're Gucci. I mean, this is a really long run of extension cord, because that's really just all I have, but yeah, I think we're all set. Hell yeah, let's go. All right, so I went to the store. I got a better drill bit. This is a 7/8 drill bit because that's all I needed to get the gas line through the floor. And I ran it right next to my gray water drain, which is above the rear wheels, but I moved this one a little bit further in, so it's close. It's pretty close to just about over the frame rail of the bus. So, and I'm gonna route this line in the frame rail with all the wire harnesses and stuff, so it won't be near anything hot or moving, so it'll be fine. And this side, I picked up some gas rated PTFE tape or PTFE tape. Get the yellow stuff, that's the gas stuff. I guess the other stuff isn't good for gas, but I'm gonna get this stuff put together. And I'm also, from the outside, I'm gonna slide a rubber hose over this hose so that the small metal layer that's all the way at the bottom that this hose passes through is not in direct contact with the hose. So if there is some movement after I silicone it and seal it and everything, that it's not gonna deteriorate at the actual line. It'll be like a sleeve for it. So I'm gonna do that as well, because I only needed the 7/8 to get, you know, the other fitting through, which is like this size. The actual line is a little bit smaller than the fitting, so I got some room to work with, as you can see. Okay, so I got all of this set up as you saw in the time lapse. I had some extra 1/2" clear vinyl hose, so I stuck that over the hose. I had to cut a slit since it was 1/2" to get it around the hose, but I cut it long enough to stick out the bottom and the top a little bit. So I'll put some of that black silicone around all of these eventually, and I'll do the underside too, especially since it's right above the wheel well. But right now, what I'm gonna do, I ran the hose underneath the bus. I went under the bus, crawled around under there and zip tied. I ran it down the frame rail and zip tied it. So now I got some soapy water in this little sprayer thing. So I just turned off all of the electricity in the bus. And I'm probably gonna unplug the shore power just to be extra safe about it. Because we're gonna do a leak test real quick. I hooked up a propane tank. I don't know if there's anything in it, but everything is hooked up. Yeah, everything's hooked up and tightened. So we'll see if we have any leaks. I already hooked the propane tank up out there. So I'm just gonna turn the valve on that and then come spray all these fittings and see if we have any leaks anywhere. So as of right now, I heard a little hiss when I opened this up, but I don't see any bubbling on any of the fittings, so maybe we got it first try. I don't see any bubbles forming on these. Nothing on these. I don't see nothing. Maybe we actually got it sealed up first try. I don't know. Let's see if this stove works too. I don't smell any propane either, because propane is a pretty obvious smell. I used to fill it at Aubuchon's when I worked there, so I know what propane smells like, and it stinks. So yeah, let's see if the stove lights up. Let's see if the stove lights up. We'll also see if we hear anything coming out of the burners. By the way, that sealer stuff that I used, don't put that on flare fittings, all right? Put that on straight fittings. a fucking torch in here and nothing happened. So there's obviously not a huge propane leak there. I hear stuff flowing out of there, but nothing's lighting necessarily. It's lit. It's working. Alright, I'm gonna turn that off. Oh, that's so exciting. It actually lit. It took me a second, but I got it. Okay, it smells like propane now. Okay, I smell it now. So, oh, and it stinks. So yeah, I think we're good on the propane setup. I mean, I still got to get the cage all set up so I can put the tanks in there, but we're plumbed up. That's the most important part, and the most daunting part too. Oh, that propane really stinks from that little bit. So yeah, sweet. All right, so that is really exciting that works now, and that makes me really want to test out the water heater. I need to get the propane tank filled. I know that much. Probably 2 of them, because I have 3. Because the lady I bought 2 of them from said, "Oh, here's a 3rd one for free." I'm just trying to get rid of them. Because I bought them for like $10 a piece for somewhat empty tanks, I guess. But yeah, that makes me really want to test the water heater, but I don't have a drain on my sink yet. But I'll put a picture up on the screen of the thing I'm going to try out. I called Pete's RV in Williston. It's the closest RV place currently to where I am. And I said, "Hey, do you have one of these?" Because it's a pretty common RV part, apparently. I'm not using it for what it's intended for necessarily, but I think it'll work for my application. But I called him, I was like, "Hey, you got any of these?" He was like, "I don't even know what you're talking about. Send me a picture of it." Sent him a picture. He looked it up. I gave him a part number, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I can get a bunch of these. I should probably have some of these in stock anyway." So he's like, "I'll order some, and it'll be here maybe end of the day tomorrow, or if not, the next day." So I got one of those ordered. After freight and all that, it's about $10 is what I'm going to be looking at for it. It's a $5 part, $3 shipping, tax and everything, about $10. Works for me because online they go for about $8 to $10, maybe a little bit more depending on where you're looking. And then you got shipping and tax on top of that. So good deal. I got to drive down to Williston. I hit up a person for the solar charge controller because I finally sold the last car I need to sell, finally. So I'm gonna buy that solar charge controller. I hope he's gonna be available when I go down to get the fitting, so then I can just make one trip to that area and knock out 2 birds with 1 stone, so to speak. So yeah, and if that fitting is just barely too far, like it just barely too big, like I said, Ace has one of these that's 1/10 of an inch smaller, so we can try that as well with that fitting if need be. But I think just the fitting on that is going to be perfect. So yeah, I'm getting stoked because things are getting put together and we are getting very close to a complete bus that's ready to inhabit.
Good morning. It's a new day. Working on the bus. A lot of good stuff was happening yesterday. The propane is all set. I got my tanks refilled. I haven't used it since, but I got a drawer pull installed today out of my 3 drawer pulls that were just laying around the house. So yeah, it's my first time installing anything like that, but I think it came out pretty good. It looks pretty centered to me and level, and the holes lined up perfectly. These are really thick here because, as you can see, it's 2 panels. It's not like some where the front panel is like that, so I had to countersink the screw holes. But that also, if I were to clean these up a little bit, it makes it so you can't see the screws at all, so that works for me. So it gave it just a little bit more length so I could actually screw the handle on. Yeah, I think they look nice. I was kind of worried about it maybe like catching on my side or close or something when walking in, but the way these are designed, there's no overhang on the end of it, of the little pole there, so it's not as likely to catch them. I mean, I could hit that, yes, if I was like really close, but I'd be hitting my countertop first, so it works out well. Just barely pokes out, but makes it a lot easier to open the drawers. And the way, because as you saw when I was driving around with these cabinets in here before, they were all taped shut to keep them from opening, because they will just slide open, especially when they're loaded with shit. So I'd have a ton of neodymium magnets and stuff. So what I'm going to do is replace these little bump stops that are falling off anyways and degrading. I will replace those with magnets and just glue them onto both sides so that it'll snap shut with a magnet, and you'll have to pull it open to actually open it. So that should keep all the drawers shut. All right, so I just finished drilling all the holes for the cabinet pulls, or the drawer pulls. And if you don't know how to do that, it's pretty simple. Just put a piece of masking tape roughly in the center of the drawer where the cabinet or the pull's gonna go. And then you can take a tape measure down the front of it or a square and mark the center point. Get a line across it, or if you have linear ones like that, and then mark, you know, the center point this way and how far your things are. It said 5 and like a 16th, so about 5 inches apart, so 2.5 off of the center point, and then drill your holes. And then I just peel that off. I'm gonna vacuum up all these shavings and get the bus cleaned up now, so I shouldn't have to do too much more drilling of things. A little update of where I'm at. I did some work in the bathroom area, so I got my switch for the pump wired up, so that works. I also got the light switch wired up, so if I turn my main lights on, this switch will control the bathroom light. So if it's nighttime and, you know, I gotta go to the bathroom, and as long as the main light switch is on, I can just flick this on, use the bathroom. Or if it's in the morning and it's still dark out, I can just have that light on rather than the whole bus lit up. So that's nice. I'm gonna leave this on and turn the master switch off. So that's done. That's all wired up. I could tidy this up a little bit better with some zip ties or whatnot, but good enough for now. I also put up these boards here, so I got those put into place. It's just some boards I had. I cut them to 24 inches long because that fits in that corner pretty nicely, and that will help turn this curved corner into a square corner. So if I just put another board there going straight up, hopefully that will help it come together nicely. So yeah, this is looking all right. I got that just taped up for now to keep it out of my face, but that will obviously get trimmed, and the window will get cut out as well, because like I said, we have the plexiglass cover is the plan for that. But yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I might do some more electrical stuff just to tidy up that harness there, which is going to be for the fridge, and I think there's 2 power sources on this, so this will be my fridge and something else, just an outlet basically. I might run the USB hub off of it. I don't really know what I'm gonna do there, because I don't necessarily need a charging station for the bedroom area, because I will have my my EcoFlow put up in one of these cubbies, so that I can use as a charging station if need be. And I'm planning to have an outlet, 12 volt outlet in this vicinity, so I can have a charging station there as well. And I have regular plug outlets down here, so I don't know exactly what I want to do with some of this stuff, but I'm gonna just keep doing stuff and getting stuff put together. my goal is to clean the bus by the end of today and maybe start moving some stuff in here. Okay, so I'm about to do something really substantial. I'm gonna test my water system because everything's there. I got propane, so I can test the water heater too. So I want to put some water in the tank, see if the pump sucks it up, and see if we got any leaks, because why not? So I got the hose hooked up. I just had to come in here, open the window, and I'm gonna try to fill up the tank a little bit. So I almost forgot that I put a main water shutoff valve down there and it's closed right now. So the water level, you can see, is just at where the fitting would be. So I think I'm gonna go in there and actually I can open the valve from here, I'm pretty sure. Let's see if we can reach down there and get that valve. It's not the easiest thing, but it is possible. Eventually I could probably get some sort of extension for that. Okay, so the valve is open now. It's a very short run, but we should start seeing that filter fill up with water in theory. I might put a little bit more water in so that the water level is above where that that strainer is, just so I can see it fill up. But I don't see any leaks yet. All right, so I put a little bit more water in it, but you can see that we're not on a level plane, so the front is a little bit lower than the rear, but that should be all right because we are higher than the strainer. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the fuse in for the main water pump because I did not put that one on a switch, and I probably should have, to be honest, but the fuse is in now, so when I put the circuit on, the pump should start running and it should start priming itself. And as you can hear, it is definitely priming itself. You hear it building pressure, and now is the time to check for leaks on our pressurized side of things, like going up to the water heater. In theory, I don't know if the hot side is gonna start filling up just yet. I don't know how that's gonna work, but let's run that pump a little bit more until it gets until it stops itself. Oh, I heard something that sounded concerning. Maybe everything's all right. It almost sounds like a hissing noise. I'm gonna go over all these and feel for any leaks, and I'll get back to you. So I opened the valves for the sink, and I could hear, you know, air coming out because I'm bleeding the system basically right now. And I pointed the sink out there and opened it up, and it just farted. So I'm gonna run the pump again, get it primed some more, and then hopefully we can get this sink shooting some water out the window. Okay, it stopped pumping and it's on. All right, let me set you guys up, and then we're gonna see if the sink farts again. Okay, power's on. Let's see what happens. Oh, it did some stuff. Let's get this back in. I don't have, just get a rag. So, I don't have a sink drain yet, so I can't actually drain into the sink. And I hope I hit the window. I didn't leak in the inside. Okay. Well, that works, and I don't see any water on the floor, so that's good. Yeah, the pump seems to be working. It probably still has some air in it, but. Okay, I think it got better, so it's probably just bleeding out some of the air, which is by normal. But these pumps are meant for doing that, so that is cool. What I'm gonna do now is hook up my propane tank to my regulator out there. And I'm gonna flip the switch for the water heater on the outside because I'm pretty sure it's off out there. And let's see if the hot water works. All right, so the propane is connected. Doesn't smell like propane inside, so that's a good sign. I flipped the switch on the water heater and I heard it make a beep noise, so I did something. Oh, okay, what's going on here? Okay, we're gonna do Fahrenheit, and we'll set it to 100 degrees, because why not? It says it's 55 degrees right now. It sounds about right. All right, let's see if we got some hot water and if this thing makes any noises when oh. I'm not used to this. What the fuck's going on? Does that mean like I lost a little bit of pressure? But there's still no water leaking anywhere, so at least not that I can see. I don't see any wetness anywhere. So yeah, let's get you back on the tripod and let's see what happens when I try to use some hot water. All right, I hope you can see the screen down there because I won't be able to see it. So forward is hot on this. So I hear it running now. Ah, yeah, now it's getting hot. Kind of. Oh yeah, there we go. That's some hot water. Yeah, it's working. Oh goodness. I don't know what it looks like, but oh, that's really exciting. I have hot water in my bus. Yes! And I don't have any leaks on the first try. I saw that in a lot of videos when I was researching bus builds, and my research was just watching a bunch of people build their buses, and a lot of people on their propane and their water plumbing, regular plumbing, I saw them always having leaks after they first installed it because they just didn't tighten things enough, or they forgot something, or they didn't put the correct sealer on, or any sealer, or whatever. So this is very exciting that I got the propane in and sealed and perfect first try, and the plumbing same deal so far. So that is super exciting, and I got hot water. Yes. Finally, I got the TV mounted. I was struggling to find a TV mount in my house because there's quite a few TVs and TV mounts that were left behind. So I've gotten rid of most of the TVs, but I have all these mounts, and none of them would fit on this one because this is actually a display. It's a 4K display, so it has no speakers built in, so I need some sort of audio system in order to hear from it. But it has such a small bolt pattern on it because it's a computer display basically, so none of the mounts would fit. But I finally found a mount that would fit, but I had to cut the bracket. I didn't have to cut the top, but I cut it so that it wasn't sticking up like, you know, some freaking ears on the thing. But yeah, that's just screwed in to that support piece, or that visual aesthetic piece for the shelf, but that piece is very much so in place there. So that is screwed onto there, and now this can be viewed straight on. I can move it whichever way I want to, and it's also out of the way so that I can still see on my back window while I'm driving. But if I need to get to these windows back here, it can be moved. I can open the windows up, whatever. So I think that's good like that. But yeah, I'm just getting you caught up with where I am. I got a Roku to go with that. The wires are ran up there. But the main attraction is that I got the fitting that I need for my drain to fit in theory. So we're gonna do this and it's gonna work. So let me put this together real quick. I figured to do this in real time. Hopefully I didn't just mess up the shot. But yeah, I figured we'd do this in real time since I haven't been really showing you guys much of what I've been doing as I'm doing it. I've just been explaining afterwards. So this is not meant for this purpose. This is meant for something else on an RV. It's for gray water 90-degree drain connector, which is going to be draining gray water, that's for sure. But this is 1.5, and it should thread onto this. This is going to want to go on there, so let me take a better look at it. Okay, so I figured it out. So this nut may not want to thread onto there because whatever reasons, but this one does. Yeah, I gotta put the gasket back on. But yeah, that's actually like perfect. Because I didn't know that this came apart like that at first, because I've only seen pictures of this and I didn't even know exactly what it was used for until I found a picture on one listing that showed what it was used for. Which in reality this would go to the other end of the drain, not this part, but like wherever this connects to, and then you'd run a hose to this to flush everything out. But so that's put together. Now I got a super tight 90, and this is 3/4. I don't really need 1.5-inch drain necessarily. It's okay if it drains a little bit slower, but let's see if this fits. I gotta remove this lock ring. This foam one will get replaced with plumber's putty, but for now, put the foam one in. Son of a bitch. It's still too big by a lot. It's not good. Another 1/10 of an inch by getting a different thing here, which I might have to do that just to see if that's enough, but I doubt it. The drain is like, let's measure it. See how bad it is. Still a 1/2 inch too tall. So, not good. Damn it. Okay, so I've done some reevaluating of my options because I've already looked online for low profile sink drains, and literally with the amount of room that I'm working with, I don't have any other options like besides to just make it work. I have 3 inches. I can put a picture up. 3 inches from the bottom of the sink to the top of the tank. I knew this was going to be a bit of an issue, but with the way I mounted the tanks, I put them both as flat as possible so that it would give me as much depth as possible for a sink. And I didn't get the deepest sink possible. I guess it would have helped if my drain wasn't a center drain and it was off to the left. If that were the case, this would have been even more perfect. But you know, the options on the sink were kind of limited, and it was $20. Like, the deal was meant to happen for me to get this sink, right? Because it was not supposed to be $20. So I evaluated my options.
I'm not going to really get any smaller of a drain. Like I said, the one at the hardware store that's available there might be slightly smaller ones, but I'd have to go through a ton of them, and it's not necessarily a specification that they really put out there. So it'd have to be like a manual search of me going to the store and comparing myself and measuring them, because that's not going to be listed online. So I have to reduce this down. So what I'm going to do is I drilled the strainer part out of the bottom that holds the strainer, so that I could take this and fish it through the drain itself. So I'm going to make a custom drain for my application, but basically I'm just going to silicone this and glue it in there and seal it so that this fits on there by itself and gives me enough room. And I also, since this is a hose fitting, I bought a hose to barb adapter. So like if you're fixing your hose, you could use this. So this is going to screw onto there, and then I'll glue all that in, and I can put a 3/4 inch hose. I only needed like a 1 foot run for this. And stick that on there, and the other end will go onto this, which fits into my drain. So everything is connected, and I should have a working sink drain after everything is dry. So let's put this together.
Okay, sorry I didn't really show you that, but the drain is now in. I put the plumber's putty on the actual edge of the drain rather than this foam thing. So I got that clamped down. I put that in there, and I used, I had a little bit of Gorilla heavy duty construction adhesive left. I was going to use the black sealer, but that takes 24 hours to cure before it can see any water, or else it's going to fail. This one I have not checked. Cure time 24 hours. Okay, cool. But this is also waterproof. It's meant for sinks, tubs, stuff like that. At least it says it on there. So I put a bunch around the edge of that fitting before I slid it in there, so that it would kind of ooze out, and then I used my finger to clean it up a little bit down there. And yes, it's white on this, you know, not white sink, but I really don't care. I just need it to work. So it comes out the bottom. I cleaned it up a little bit around there, and I just taped this hose there to keep it all set into place, so that the hose doesn't pull the fitting and make it all angled and whatnot. But everything else is tightened up and installed, so hell yeah. I just gotta let that dry. So 24 hours we will have a sink we can use, in theory. Gotta say, seeing the bus like this, oh, it's so exciting to see it this clean. It makes you want to start sleeping in it, but I don't have a bed in here yet. Picked up a charge controller, and you probably can't see it, but I got a car dolly back there. Look at these views. Oh, it's a beautiful day now. So there's a new issue with the bus. You hear that? You hear that beep? The beeping that like almost sounds like it used to when the door was open. I don't know why it started all of a sudden. I mean, there is a potential that I took the bus through the biggest downpour I ever have. Like, it was really raining where I picked up this trailer, and I opened the back door to throw the straps in, and then ever since I got back in the bus from picking up the trailer, it's been making this beeping noise. But it seems to be
only when I like turn right or go over a right curve. So when things get pushed to the left, it makes the noise and then kind of faintly just like goes away, and it keeps coming and going. I don't know, it's really weird. And there are a lot of leaks that are happening. I got soaked during the interaction buying the trailer, so I didn't get to look it over as well as I would have hoped to, because it was just torrential downpour. Like as soon as I stepped outside, I was immediately soaked. Well, I gotta turn up here. You hear it? You hear the noise? Now I'm gonna take a left turn. And it goes away. But there's water dripping. So yeah, there's definitely some more leaks that I need to address. Especially these ones that are like dripping on me as I'm driving, coming from my visor. There's a potential, at least my theory is, while I'm driving here and I can't do anything, that noise is definitely not wind noise, because it'll continue even when I'm stopped in the right conditions. My theory is maybe some water is dripping into one of the disconnected connectors sitting up there in the overhead storage, and maybe that's causing enough of a connection to make the buzzer go off or ground it. I'm not entirely sure. Or maybe the connector's just pushing up against something. I have no idea why or what that noise is about. This trailer is also very noisy, being towed back there, because it has very bad tires, and these roads are not forgiving, man. These roads are horrible, absolutely trash. And yeah, we're almost home though. We're about another 20 minutes to go, but at least it's cleared up quite a bit outside, so it turned into a very beautiful day now, so I am going to enjoy it. Okay, so exactly what I thought the issue was the issue. Let me So, like I said, there was water dripping above my head, and that is because this channel back here is full of water that's been dripping from the seams because the bus needs to be resealed, and all my extra bus harnesses that were not getting used were just tucked into that channel. So there's some extra harnesses here, and one of those is the rear door harness, and since these were all just dipped in some water, which is not great, they have been turning on and off circuits, because water makes continuity. So that's great. But like I said, I just took the bus through one of the biggest torrential downpours that it's ever seen, because that was a lot of rain for Vermont. Something else I noticed while I was driving, I was hitting puddles and I was seeing water build up on this first step, so there's something up with that as well. I just saw a bunch of water coming up in places, at least as much as I could see while I was driving. So that's not great either. The bus is just, it needs to be sealed up a little bit better, but it's pretty good for most of the time. All right, so we have a tow dolly, and it is home. I paid $400 for this. The guy was asking $650, but I offered him $400 and he said yes. Which I say is a pretty good deal. It most definitely needs tires. These tires are absolutely fucking spanked. One of them was loose. I'm pretty it was this one that was loose at his house, and I was like, hey, do you have a wrench so I can like tighten the lug nuts on this so the wheel doesn't fall off on my way home? So he tightened those up for me. I guess he was trying to see if some other wheels that he had laying around would fit on this, but then he forgot to tighten the wheel up. But other than that, it's a pretty clean trailer. This wheel
is also loose, or the bearing is, one or the other. I don't know. I'm gonna go through the whole thing and make sure it's all good. The deck doesn't want to pivot either right now. When I tried to, he said he hit it with a control arm. I don't know. We'll do some investigating on it. It needs fenders, obviously. It needs lights, and it needs new tires. So I'm gonna start cleaning this thing up. But we also have a solar charge controller to install. Alright, so back inside the camper. These are the straps. They're like brand new straps that it came with. So that's cool. But now that I'm looking at it, these have ratchet straps on them. So I don't really know how that's supposed to work. But whatever, they're brand new straps. We should be able to make them work. I guess I can remove those other ratcheting things off of the thing. I don't know. This came out of place, but that's all right. But yeah, the solar charge controller. I did tape these up for the trip, so that, because this cabinet door kept flying open, and since the solar charge controller is a little heavy, this drawer started sliding out as well. But here's what we got. Oh, it's heavy. Put this on the counter lightly. We got a Midnight Classic 250, he said. So this should be more than capable of doing what I need for this bus, because I have like 80 volts coming from my panels wired in series. So this should be overkill for what I'm doing, which is perfect. He also had this controller, like an external mount controller. Cool, I guess. I'm not sure that I'm gonna use it. But yes, I did really need this guy. And I bought it for $116 is what he sold it to me for. He was asking $150, and I had $100 for a controller because I was going to buy a different one, a Renogy, but the guy would not respond to my messages. So I asked this guy if he could do 100. He said 125, and I said all I got is 116, and he said all right. So I picked this up and the car dolly today. They were both roughly in the same area, so I killed two birds with one stone. So yeah, I want to get this thing installed so I can get those solar wires, get them from dangling around. But I also need to see where this is going to go, because this is a big unit. So today was a pretty eventful day. I did start cracking into the trailer just to kind of inspect it. I lubed a couple things up. I took one of the wheels and hubs off. I've decided I'm going to get new bearings for the trailer. I mean, it needs new tires. We know that, but I'm going to get new bearings and do both sides, change the seals, make sure it's all fresh, because just based off the one side, the grease does not look good and the bearing was loose. So yeah, we need to get that serviced. I started cleaning out the garage, and by doing that, I grabbed my toolbox out of there and cleaned it up. All the drawers are out because I still need to reorganize all the drawers, but I got all my tool cases, or all the tools that are in a case are either slid back there, or one is slid back there that doesn't fit in there, the tie rod tool, but the rest of them are all in there, and I got plenty of room to spare for other large tools. I took a paint marker as well and painted the white sealer that was down there, so you can not really tell what's going on down there anymore. I mean, you can from this side, but as you can see, I also put wool down there. I also filled that front storage cavity. I put a bunch of wool down and filled that whole area with insulation, and then I packed in my camping gear. So I have my canopy, my chairs, my outdoor table, my my outdoor cooking stuff. So just like general camping stuff that I used to have in the trailer, that'll be useful for when I have a little outdoor setup at whatever spot I'm parked up at. But yeah, that's about as far as I went today. I can't get that necessarily installed yet until I get the proper size wire to hook it up to my battery. So I gotta wait on that because I don't have any more money right now. So yeah, I'm gonna have to work in a couple days, get the money for that, and then get the money to do the bearings on the trailer. Is gonna conclude today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. We had a lot of great successes, and the bus is really getting very close to finishing. Like, we just need to get the bathroom buttoned up, a couple little spots on the interior, and then, you know, just get my bed in here, and that's really it. I've already started preparing. As you can see, all the drawers are missing from stuff because I am preparing them in the house. Like, I'm loading them with my stuff and getting used to what fits where, so that when I go to transition to the bus, it's not like, oh, where am I gonna put this? So all my stuff is in bins or totes, like the cubes, and if it's not, it's in a spot where I know it's gonna go on a shelf or under the bed or wherever. So again, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and stick around for the next one.